Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning to it. A fine Lawn Maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. It's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do, remember this. We post all 3 hours, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault every afternoon upon the conclusion of the program. It's brought to you with limited commercial interruption thanks to our great sponsor, Carlton Dean, carltondean.com. To learn more about income-producing properties, that's where you go. Email the show if you want. It's jcs at 979espnradio.com. You can find me on Twitter at jcameronshow. WTSM app works well for your mobile device as always. You can watch the show performed every day, ESPN Tallahassee on YouTube. Go there, find it, and, have fun with that. At Jay Cameron Show on Twitter. Thanks for the follow. Florida State, well, if you're going to go ahead and win some meaningful games, why not save it to the very end of the season when you absolutely have to have it? And they did. This hour, a lengthy interview with Mike Martin Jr. He will join us. I'm sure he'll be in a mood. And I mean that in a way, I guess, understandably. I think that he's probably both happy. He'll probably exact some frustration, and we'll have a good conversation when it's all played out, because Florida State did do what they needed to do, and that little hunch, Tom Lang, it turned out to be accurate. It's crazy. Who would have thought, though, not just the 2 wins at Louisville, you get those 2 wins, and you got to stay up there in Kentucky forever and a day to play in this ACC tournament, but you get an opportunity because of the game. We were on the air last when Florida State was taking on Notre Dame. And we provided the updates in a colorful manner and had a lot of fun with it.
With the update for that ass?
Oh, absolutely.
Man, Are we going to have to be playing? No, we play 6 o'clock on Friday, right?
Yeah, no, we're good. We won't have to be doing the updates for that ass, but we did. It's update time for that ass. That's right. So that's what we were doing, and we were giving updates, and we were finding ourselves somewhat frustrated. That game's close, and it's on its way to extra innings and all that extra stuff. We sign off, headed out for a long weekend. And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, don't screw this whole thing up. You go up there, 2 games under 500 in the ACC. You're on the cusp of having a losing record for the first time ever in the ACC. First time Mike Martin would ever have a losing conference record anywhere, for that matter. And then they win the 2 games against Louisville, and you think, don't turn around and lose to Notre Dame. Don't turn around and undo the positive momentum you've got going. But it's hard in baseball because individual one-offs can go any number of ways. A lot of weird things can happen. But the throw from Wells happens in right field to keep the game tied. Notre Dame does not get the sac fly it needed to take the lead because of that throw, a laser to the plate, and Florida State gets the big home run in the bottom of the inning to walk it off and carry that momentum over. And let's see what happens from here. But we'll look back at that throw. We'll look back at that game. There'll be a number of moments we'll look back on and say, wow, how about the comeback in the Thursday night game against Louisville, that you look like you're dead in the water. You give up all the runs. You come back and win at 12-9. Then you get a strong Tyler Holton performance. Then you're on the cusp of losing to Notre Dame. There is no ACC championship game to be played if you lose that game. You get the throw. Then you get the walk-off win. Obviously, you carry on. Some things have to happen for you that make that road a little bit easier. Perhaps it's certainly nice to get Duke in the semis, for example. And so that happens. But Florida State does a lot of making their own luck as well. They come up big in big moments, and they have now got serious momentum, bring home an ACC title, and along with it comes a host for a regional that was as improbable as it gets, given what their record was, what their RPI was, who they were facing at a time that they were facing them fresh off series loss to Wake Forest, all that stuff, and they get right. And we've joked forever and a day on this program that it was always going to be the team that had no business, or a team that underachieved, or a team that we thought has very little shot of making it to Omaha, let alone win the whole thing, that might actually do it. And, there's a ton of baseball. This is a tough regional, but you're not paired with Gainesville. You did get healthy and hot at the right time. Sands, if he's right and he pitches to the stuff that he has, you have a deadly 1-2. You've got a useful back end of the bullpen with Carlton if you're pitching in high leverage situations, and you got a lineup that can hit for days. So they go into this thing sitting as pretty as you possibly could, given what they were just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's not overstating it or adding drama where there is no drama to say that they were a bubble team at that point. To make it, to be a 4. Miami, good Lord.
Oh, I'll get to them.
44 years. That's a
Tragic.
hell of a thing. But Florida State was in
Hurtful.
a similar circumstance 2 weeks ago, especially if they, on the first leg of their trip to Louisville, where they actually played the Cardinals, if they had lost 2 out of 3, or heaven forbid, they gotten swept in that situation, they would be going to the ACC tournament,
In need
perhaps
of
on the
winning some games,
outside.
yeah.
On the outside looking in. And that wasn't the case. Instead, they've turned things around, and it started, I remember when we were talking about the Wake Forest series the next day, and the results weren't there, and you had to have the result in that moment. But the signs of life that they had shown over the weekend, and if they just could have scratched out the win on Sunday,
They would have been
you
all
would
right.
have said,
Yeah.
Tyler Holton looks like he's rounding into form, and the bats are red hot.
Yeah.
So if you had won 2 out of 3, the narrative would have changed in that moment. But you didn't win 2 out of 3. But one thing that did change and has stayed consistent since that weekend, is that Holton has been your guy. So maybe you want to change the rotation in a week from now if we're still playing baseball.
Right.
But there's been a constant about the Wake series, the Louisville series, the ACC tournament. Get a win, hand the ball to Holton. So can you do that again this weekend here in Tallahassee? Get a win and hand the ball to Holton in the winner's bracket on Saturday.
Well, if Florida State had lost 3 consecutive ACC series, and we're 12-14 at the time. So the second guessing, the wringing of the hands, the frustration, the aggravation with a team that wasn't living up to its capabilities, that was preseason ranked number 1 in some polls, it was all on the surface at that time. And yet, certainly we tried to balance that with the understanding that this is a talented team that was missing something. Sometimes it's health. There's nothing you can do about that. But sometimes it was in the manner in which they played. Sometimes there seemed to be something wrong with their interactions, whether it be with the coaches or each other. But there were problems, and it all manifested itself into this just this cluster of a season where they really were on the brink of not making the postseason. Suffice to say, that's turned around. Not only did they make the postseason, they've entered the top 20. They're hosting. They're paired with the Texas Tech Regional. I think the path is doable, especially if you get another good outing from Sands. It's really going to kind of be reliant on him in a lot of ways, because I think they'll hit. I think they can hit against anybody. I think they can. Obviously, they've gotten to where they're at least pretty decent defensively. They've done a lot of the things they weren't doing at the beginning of the season. They've done well in the second half of the season. They just have to get the pitching.
Yeah, who knows if Tennessee Tech and all of its hitting translates from the Ohio Valley. But, they do slug with the best of them in the country.
Sure.
So you would like to think that if Sands is pitching like he did in the ACC tournament, that perhaps he can turn in a performance that, sees 3 runs over 6 innings. I'm not asking for 7 shutout innings or anything like that, but you're asking for him to pitch more like he did in the ACC tournament. And maybe they found something at the right time. It's not just Sands. It's also Drew Parrish, who pitched well against Notre Dame, but we kind of discounted that because Notre Dame can't hit off anybody.
But he came back when you needed him in a big-time
Yes.
way, buddy. That is huge. I want to talk to Mike Martin about that. Mike Martin Jr. I want to talk to him about, what he's seeing now from this lineup that is hitting its stride. And now they're in a situation where after that 7-3 win over North Carolina, they claimed the ACC title. By the way, that's their second in 3 years.
Been to the final each of the last 3 seasons.
This is it's something to be excited about, because I think it's fair to say it was unexpected. Not impossible, given the talent they possess. But it's been a maddening season, and I certainly second-guessed them all along the way. And I hope that they've righted the ship at just the right time. It's so fun to watch. You're buoyed by what you're seeing. They're the same team, though, that could go out there and give up a bunch of runs if Sands doesn't pitch well. And, we'll ask Junior today what he thinks about the rotation and how that's going to look and what they're going to throw and when they're going to throw. And we'll ask him the reasons for seeing what we are. But it's a big-time turnaround, and it's at just the right time. And you know what? What the hell is June if we're not hosting regional baseball in Tallahassee, right? That's what we do.
Would have been a really quiet weekend in the city.
Which it's not right. And part of that is a testament to their excellence that year in and year out, we just assumed that's what we're going to be watching. This year, I had just assumed based on the season we wouldn't be. I was wrong. They made an ass of you and me.
Do it again.
Keep on keeping on, kids. I'll pester. Tough Love Cameron's here for you. Mike Martin Jr. next.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford. The place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Oh, shit. No.
Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Due to an upturn in the economy, Main Street Business Loans has pre-approved the release of millions of dollars in small business funding. Your business may already be pre-approved to receive up to $250,000. We've sent out millions of pre-approval letters. We see the economy growing, and our underwriters believe now is the time to invest in your business so you can grow faster and make more money. And we're prepared to give you up to $250,000 to do it. Your funds can be available in 5 days. There are no application fees, no annual fees, just quick access to up to $250,000. If your business did not receive your approval letter to get up to $250,000, call Main Street Business Loans Approval Desk now.
800-509-2163, 800-509-2163, 800-509-2163, 800-509-2163.
Staples knows that when the leave behinds for your sales call get left behind at your office, it's time. When you need to print 30 pages and you're 300 miles from the office, it's time. And when the intern packed the Harrington file, not the Farrington file.
Oh, my bad.
It's definitely time. And it's times like these when you can count on Staples. Access your files from email, the cloud, or USB, and then print, copy, fax, or scan them, and get back to business fast. Visit your nearby Staples. It's pro time.
Right now at the Home Depot, save 20% with bulk pricing on Owens Corning Oak Ridge shingles and 30% with bulk pricing on insulation. That'll bring that roofing project down within reach. And that insulation project, you'll be covered. If you're ready to start, now you know where. Get bulk pricing on shingles and insulation, only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. See store for details and minimum purchase quantities. Selection varies by store.
Check out your many DeWalt FlexVolt options at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener, your FlexVolt headquarters. Buy any of the following T1 DeWalt FlexVolt kits for $2.99, 60-volt max grinder kit or 60-volt max brushless reciprocating saw kit, and add one 60-volt DeWalt battery pack for less than half price. See store for details. FlexVolt, power of corded, freedom of cordless. Cornerstone Tool & Fastener, 1110 Stuckey Ave and 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Tallahassee location open on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. So in what has to be termed a rather sizable improbability, before the tournament began and before the trip up to Kentucky, which felt interminable, probably worse for my next guest, who was there all along, although it was accompanied by a lot of wins, Florida State turns it all around. Not only does Florida State turn it all around, they win the 2 games against Louisville. They then go on to win the ACC tournament, return to the top 25 at number 15 this week, get told that they are indeed hosting a regional. So a team that, in essence, in the span of 10 days was in danger, or at least some thought on the NCAA tournament bubble, has turned into a regional host, and I think one that is riding a wave now that has us believing that they could very well take this regional, and in fact, I think most would predict it. Our next guest is Mike Martin Jr. He joins us now. If you want to start by yelling, fire away, baby, because I ripped you guys all year.
Well, I did get a couple of glimpses of it on the way home, and, it's first of all, you catch me at a good time because I've been doing quite a bit of yelling myself, and so my voice is kind of shot, so I won't yell at you too bad. But there was some things said. I mean, it's frustrating. It's frustrating for all of us, but nobody wants it more than we do, and these guys, and the hate that was going around. Haters are going to hate, and I just thought there was some times in which people overstepped, and I'm not saying you did, but I'm just I always want our fans and our alumni to be proud and be above the fray, and it happens. I mean, but again, people, and that's why I was disappointed in a lot of people, because they're baseball guys. I mean, you look out there and you're like, I like this team. Okay, well, Mendoza, okay, he's been out for basically half the year. We got to throw him in there. By the way, Moustakas is your first guy that you got to face for Carolina, and he's not really ready to go. He's so far behind, and Jay Luke and Daughtry and Applin, and we've had a lot. This team's been through a lot, and that's why we're so dang proud of them.
Well, and I think, Mike, in fairness, right, I mean, if this team was in danger of finishing under 500 in the ACC, that has never happened to you, your dad, anybody, not Florida State, period. That's never happened. And this team, without question, had a ton of injuries, but the expectations were married with that of a preseason ranked number 1. We're loaded, and then the pitching for the first half of the season is god-awful. We have a situation where Carlton is in a weird place. We move him to the bullpen. He doesn't get a lot of high-leverage situations, so I was certainly critical of that because we have to be playing well for him to matter on a team like that. And if we're not, he's not getting used. And meanwhile, we don't have a true number 3 or a 2 even for half this season, and I'm thinking we're wasting an arm. I mean, address those things, especially when you knew how good this team could be. I mean, do you think that criticism was completely unfair?
Well, it's not. Again, when you say that we're not playing well, but we're planning on playing well. Okay, well, when that happens, what do you got? Now you got a guy in the bullpen that people are like, oh, crap, he's down there. Well, your guys that are in your dugout are like, heck, yeah, we got a guy that we're fixing, and it changes things. And you have to have that. I don't care what anybody says. You've got to have a stud down there. Number 1 is durable, and all the poise and everything. They have to have all the above, the intangibles. And Drew's got that. Do we want him as a starter? Absolutely. That's probably what he wants to do. But he knew, and we all knew, we got to have a guy down there. So yeah, things didn't go well. Again, we're playing with half deck for most of the time. But again, when you get it rolling like we have for the last couple of weeks, then you see, okay, now nobody wants to play us. Well, we kind of again, that's what I want to scream from the hilltop. We kind of know what we're doing around here. In case anybody doesn't remember the last how many ever years, we've done okay, and we got an idea of what we're doing. Just hang with us. Don't act like Gators and and all that. Let's just stay above it. Let's keep grinding, stick with this club, and we got to have a big turnout crowd wise this weekend. It's going to be a tough regional, and we're all excited about it.
Well, and I think in fairness, to clarify, and I could certainly understand it if I'm you driving home, hearing me or anybody else or writers
Jeff,
or people.
You made my oldest son say the first bad cuss word I've ever heard him say. So you put that because of what you said. You're questioning the state of the program, and he drops the WTF, and
okay,
first jerk my head, and I gotta have a father-son moment, and stuff like that. And again, I'm joking, but it's true.
But Mike, it's true. But why would I do
state
that?
of the program, Jeff? We're crying out loud.
When you can't beat Florida ever, and we're getting out-recruited at times by that school in particular down the road, and every time we play against a series against a team who's any good, we lose it, I have to wonder how the hell that's happening. And I'm holding you to old standards, Mike.
With half a deck. Stay with me here. For half a deck. Yeah, we're in a bad phase with Florida. And, yeah, we didn't have the greatest regular season. But, again, why does it have to focus on a situation where, yeah, we stunk. We admit it. We're going to work through it and keep pushing. But
Mike, okay, hold on. So we're differentiating here. I never thought that you couldn't be at a place where you guys would play well. In fact, and I know you couldn't have heard this, so I can't hold you to this, but before the Louisville series, I said to Tom, and we can go back and listen to the tapes, on the air last week or 2 weeks ago, I said, it's not going to surprise me if they begin to play well. They're healthy. If they get a couple of wins, they're going to be a team nobody wants to play. And I even said at the time that because it didn't look like, and your dad said this, that Florida State was not going to host a regional, right? So at that point, I said, all right, we're the team that nobody's going to want to play because we underachieved in the regular season. Part of that was due to injury. Part of that was due to kids who we thought were going to have good years having down years, whatever it might be. I think that the criticism comes from the expectation of excellence that you and your dad have put in place for decades on end, and that's why it's fair. We're holding you to the standard you hold yourself to, right?
Sure, absolutely. But I don't know if you want to call it. And again, Jeff, we shouldn't even be talking about this. Again, we're all Seminoles. And we were frustrated as everything, but it's so much harder. These kids are impressionable. Twitter and social media and message boards, it just makes it so much harder to, beat that out of them. Don't worry about it. No, there's nothing. It's just about us. We don't worry about, people outside of the circle. You don't worry about what's said. It's just, and it compounds it, and it's frustrating for us as coaches. It's frustrating for, team members. I've told you since day one, as long as we've been doing the show, if it's, lack of effort or attitude, you want to rip them, fine. They know that going in. But
well, and I ripped you when I started ripping was 17-0 Virginia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can't tell me we weren't at a low, my friend. You can't tell me this program this thing didn't look anything like I'd ever seen. And is it wrong of me to start to question the program? Yes, maybe big picture, I shouldn't have gone that far. But I was completely at a loss for what I was seeing. I saw guys making dumbass mistakes on the base paths. I saw nothing in the way of high-quality pitching, save for the occasional Holton start. And I saw guys doing things.
No, he gave up 9 in Virginia Tech.
Okay, so that game, yeah. And so there were plenty of moments where I thought, this doesn't resemble any Florida State team I've ever seen. There seems to be a disconnect. Yes, maybe it's injuries. I don't know, but something's not right. And so I was frustrated. I'm not going to lie about that. And if I overstated that, then my apologies. But we never questioned the talent ceiling for this team. We thought it was higher than it had been in years. That's why you guys were preseason ranked so high. And I understand injuries happen. It just didn't seem like we needed to be losing home series to Wake Forest, home series to Virginia, home to North Carolina, all good teams. But every time we played somebody who was any good, we lost.
Yeah. So, well, again, I understand. Again, nobody, gets it more than we do. Been doing it a long time, been through phases in which nothing seems to go right. This guy's playing, but he probably shouldn't be playing. I mean, Cal Raleigh's had a bad wrist the whole year. Little things that people don't know. Busby missed Carolina, missed Florida with a sublux shoulder. I mean, we've run the gamut, and generally it's come at bad times. If you do something early and you're playing, Rum Dum U from the north, and okay, no big deal. Well, it's been a terrible times, really bad times, and but again, here we are. They're still standing, and
they're kicking ass now. And listen, everybody's proud of them. And I want to talk about the regional. I want to talk about the run you just went on. I want to certainly celebrate the ACC championship. And one of the ways that happens is frankly, I mean, a lot of guys obviously have to be good. But I think, without calling out a kid and being personal, I think a big part of the problems this year has been that Cole Sands hasn't been anything like we thought he'd be. And outside of Holton as a pretty dependable ace, and he's gotten really good here at the end of the year, there has just been nobody else to turn to, Meat. And I know you guys have had to have been stunned for the most part because he's got stuff.
Mm-hmm. So he's got everything.
Well, what changed? What changed? What's happened?
Well, I mean, again, a crucial error here, which is made, or, we've all, as coaching staff, gone in and looked at, the way we use him in regards to pitch calling. But it's in there. He's a stud, and he's going to be there. But again, you can't put one thing. And sure, there's been bad pitches and walking guys with 2 outs and dumb stuff like that. But again, the best thing that 11 has done is just stay the course and keep them together. That's what he's pounded into them. We had that 5 o'clock whatever workout one time. That's the only time it's ever gotten to that point. But every other time it was the effort's there. Let's stay the course, stay together, so on and so forth. And Cole's going to be fine, and obviously Holton's a stud.
So in that sense, this has to be probably in many ways more satisfying than the years in which this team cruised to ACC dominance and cruised into the postseason. You guys were up against it. There's no getting around that. After that series loss to Wake, you have to go to Louisville, who hasn't lost at home since 2015, and you got to win a series to avoid finishing sub 500. But you do that, and then you parlay that into a hell of a run in the ACC championship and win that. You have to be, as a coach who's gone through all this aforementioned stuff, you've got to be as satisfied as you've ever been.
Oh, no question. No question. I think that, you saw that in regards to the club. They were just as happy as they could possibly be, proud of each other. There's an awful lot of borderline tears after that one because we needed it. We needed it bad, and, we knew we were going to turn the corner. Sure, there was times you're saying maybe we're not, but it is extremely satisfying, and again, can't say it enough. Just so proud of.
Well, let's pass around the credit because the team's ERA in the ACC tournament was a 1.62. That'll help win you a whole bunch of baseball games. And a team that, as I said earlier in the year, didn't do so many things right defensively in the second half of the season has gotten right there too. They've played smarter baseball. Let's talk about this team as a whole. Even after losing App, when you put Holton out there, I do want to ask you, were there times earlier this year where he could have seen the field offensively as a hitter? Because it looks like that kid, I guess his first at-bat came in the second game against North Carolina in that situation. I mean, from that time on, that kid's looked like he should be a hitter, not a pitcher or both. I mean, what his prospects anyhow are of both. Talk about, did you think about using him earlier?
We felt like we were doing what was best for him. It's a heck of a workload to do both. And we're saying, all right, well, this guy's a bona fide big legger on the mound. Let's take it easy on his arm. Don't be slamming him into the outfield walls trying to do this and that. Well, all of a sudden, there goes Jay Luke. Shin splints, shingles. He's out for however long, 3 weeks. Daughtry goes in, does a nice job filling in. Apple, and the next thing you know, and we lose Petrie. Next thing you know, we're like, gosh, we don't have anybody out. We need a guy. And Tyler's the epitome of a winner. He didn't have that crutch and say, well, I haven't picked up a bat in a month and a half. Just let me compete. And obviously what he's done since has been remarkable because he's really saved us. There's no doubt on the mound and with the bat.
What has Drew Parrish found in the last, say, 10 days?
Change up for strikes. You go back and look at Cole. When Cole struggled, there's some fastball command issues, but it's a change up for strikes. It's the ultimate equalizer. You go and look at any team that we've struggled against. Those 3 pitches for strikes, with the change up being the emphasis, that's the key. And it's obviously what Tyler Holton does. Drew Carlton as a starter, that's what he can do. That change up is the pitch. And Drew always had a good one, but it was that one that would be thrown. It was okay in high school because they'll swing at it. Well, they won't swing at it this level, and you got to, be able to throw it for strikes. And once he gets that thing going, and he ain't scared of nothing either. That joker just give me the ball and let me compete.
Well, those 3 outs with the bags loaded against Louisville,
huge.
I mean that's insane, right?
That's it. As a freshman to do that after throwing 80-something pitches 3 days earlier, and he was trying to politic the day before.
Yeah, I meant to say UNC, by the way. Sorry. But, yeah, that's crazy, right? I mean, how big – you just think about what he is now and what that does for you guys moving forward. I mean, all right, so take me through the regional. First of all, congratulations on the ACC championship. Congratulations on hosting yet again another regional. Let's talk about the regional and how you guys are going to approach it, starting with Tennessee Tech.
Well, they can bang it. You look at their numbers, that's what they do. They try to outslug you. We're going to figure out who we're throwing. We haven't decided yet. But the main thing is you got to, with a team like that, they try to get on base and hit a 3-run home run. Earl Weaver would love them. Actually we kind of play that way as well, but you got to play defense. You can't give them extra outs, the usual stuff. You got to throw it over the plate. Don't give them freebies, and keep the ball in the ballpark. But just starting to watch them, really don't know a whole lot about them. But today's the day we'll start preparing for them.
Take us through the rest of this. Obviously, UCF, and they were in line to maybe host a regional until right up towards the end. And at one point, I know earlier this year, Auburn was a team that was thought to be surely doing the same. So this is a tough regional.
Oh, there's no question it is. We played UCF early in the season and, jumped out to leads. And, in the second game, obviously you don't want to burn your guy and, you got another game. And so their best bullpen arms came into the game in the second game from about the 6th inning on. And it was like, oh, wow. They've got some guys down there. And, of course, we didn't see their weekend starters either. And, they were in line to host, got over 40 wins. And, same with Auburn. They got 2 frontline guys. Their Friday and Saturday guys are both, high draft picks and can really older guys that could really pitch. Again, we haven't looked at them either, but they were in line to host, so it's going to be a good one.
So I take it you're going to throw Cole here in this first game?
Don't know. We haven't decided. We got to look at some film and see if D'Lo is an issue with them, or if it's off lefty's better. You just got to kind of figure out what you want to do, and so we haven't decided yet.
You go back through. I was just going back through those numbers before bringing you on. I was looking at the ACC tournament and seeing what you got from your stars, and you as a hitting coach have to be so proud of a lot of these guys. But Dylan Busby goes 12 for 28 with 6 extra base hits. Drew Mendoza, the 2 home runs in the ACC tournament championship game. Jackson Luke, tournament MVP. I think he was 7 of 16. I read this morning, and all. I mean, you have your guys, your hitters. This is a potent lineup, and to your point earlier, they're all healthy now for the most part.
That's what I was about to say. There you have it. Jackson Luke, I mean, he's 60 at-bats, I think, behind everybody else. Drew Mendoza's got half. Busby, missed probably 5 or 6 games. And, again, we're right where we want to be. Thank goodness we're right where we want to be. And we got it figured out. We're playing better, got a little mojo, and, we're excited.
Did you think, by the way, that I mean, I know it's easy now because it's happened. You won the tournament. You got hot. You won the 2 games at Louisville before the tournament. You were able to turn this thing around and get it right, but it came right up against it. And I've obviously covered and watched this team for a long time. You guys have had some years where things weren't going well, but I had never seen a team look as almost convoluted, disjointed, and struggling the way this one had. Now, some of that is, of course, without question, the injuries. But at some point as a coach, I'm just curious, now that it's behind you and you're getting focused on this, do you just think it's a snake bit year? We're not going to come out of this tailspin. We just can't seem to catch a break?
No. I told this shows you where we were and the way people were thinking around here. I got concession people 2 days before we're leaving to go to Louisville. They're cleaning out everything from this stadium. And I walked by. I said, "What are y'all doing?" And they kind of put their head down. I said, No. I said, "I'll tell you what. I'll see you guys Tuesday when you start putting all this stuff back in, and I would have helped you, but there ain't no way I'm going to help you now." So I got to tell you, I mean, they got a bunch of work to do around here to get ready for this regional. So, we never, again, doubted it. The boss was awesome. He said, "Look, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go up, we're going to sweep them, and we're going to run through this tournament. We're going to be right where we want to be." He kind of paused and looked around. And I want all eyes on me. You hear me? This is what's about to happen, and we're going to. This will go down in the history of the Florida State program as the road trip, the one that turned everything around, because that's what we are. We're Seminoles. We're unconquered. We never stop fighting. We never stop believing in each other. Period.
And that's
he said, if you don't, you get your stuff right now and get your ass out of here. And there you go. And again, we knew we were getting healthy. We saw, Mendoza starting to click. Jay Luke was locking in. Buzzer was swinging. Everything pointed towards it. And that's what's so satisfying once again.
Mike, I got to ask you though, because and just in fairness now, perhaps I'm being defensive. When 11 says to the press after the Wake series, we're not hosting a regional.
I don't think did he say it exactly like that? I know he said, "I don't care." You know, I still believe in these guys, and that's what he told us.
He said we're not hosting a regional. so
he might tell y'all one thing, but he dang sure never told this club that. I can promise you.
Well, and I believe that, and I know how good he has been over the years. Of that, what's in that clubhouse is very different than anything that's outside of it, and you guys have kept that together forever, and it's always been that way. And so I don't doubt for a second that inner belief is there. But at some point, right, that reality, all of these problems had led to that record in a situation where it certainly didn't look good. Did you know, you say it was all pointing in that direction, and I'm going to let you go, but, you know, Cal has been, you know, you said earlier that Cal has been dealing with problems all year long, and he's come up with, you know, some really big-time situational hits the last 3 weeks. Dating back to the home run Sunday against Wake, is he feeling better?
Yeah, I mean, again, he's been getting treated, you know, the wrist, and he got one back-to-back off his right toe, a foul tip, and then he smoked one, you know, when he was hitting off his toe, and you know, that's stride foot. When you can start to lay that thing down, you know it's about to hurt. It's kind of hard to hit, and obviously with a bad wrist, that's tough to do as well. But you know, he's gutted it out, and he's getting better. Obviously, the toe's just about gone. The wrist is a never-ending battle, but you know, he's what it's all about. That joker's been back there 95% of the time and taking a beating and, you know, still grinding away.
Have we hugged it out? Are we okay?
We're always good, Jeff. We're all 7-0. But one day we'll look back at this because this was a good one.
Well, I appreciate it, man, and thanks for coming on. And you know what? Congratulations. I mean that sincerely. We're all pulling for you, and obviously everybody will be out there this weekend and watch Florida State winning another regional.
Well, we love it, and we need it. And, you know, to all the fans that are listening, 11's going to do it as well, I'm sure. But we got to get the crowd going and get that Seminole mystique, Hauser mystique going and get this thing done.
After the year's over and the Hauser mystique has done its job, we can talk about how we're going to tear it down.
Hey, well, pretty good footprint for old Jimbo, so that would be a good discussion.
Be well, good sir.
Take care, Jeff.
All right, take care. That's Mike Martin Jr., who I think is probably a little frustrated still. Well, it would be. And see, this is the classic situation. This is where if you're a coach or a player, you have to stay insulated from the media and the fans because media and fans are free to talk about and speculate about teams, players, results, and obviously that only leads to frustration for those that are actually going through it. And their perspective is going to be almost diametrically opposed to the perspective given by those on the outside watching the results and talking about what a team is or is not. And both can be right. Because let me tell you, I get 100% why you'd be mad if your afternoon guy who is a Knoll is questioning the direction of the program and has been here and watched this program succeed at the highest levels year in and year out. And I get why you'd be mad if fans on message boards or in the newspaper or wherever it might be where you're reading articles and hearing people who should know better based on your successes of years past now second-guessing you, why that would make you angry. I think Mike's one of the guys that also gets the other side. I think he gets that you can't lose every series you play against good teams, save for Clemson, and not expect to be criticized, not expect to be ripped and questioned and second-guessed. So I think he understands that. I think this time around, perhaps he believes myself and others may have crossed the line. Perhaps. I mean, we may agree to disagree there.
I think it's fair to say that if you're in the position he's in and you're not angry about the criticism that you hear, then you shouldn't be in that job. So I'm glad to hear that he's fired up. I'm glad to hear that there is a pushback from the clubhouse in the sense that, you know, the kids pay more attention than they should. This is the difference between a professional athlete and a collegiate athlete.
And that's also revealed in that interview just now because, you can hear a guy who's trying to protect young kids who are impressionable and who have read what is being said in that regard and have taken it to heart when they're imploring them to ignore it.
Exactly. And I think that's where the frustration really, that's the nerve that's raw in that interview, is he knows. I mean, he's a big boy. You know, Meat knows that there's going to be criticism that comes along with what they did for the season. But he sees it manifest itself in the roster, and they're being affected by whatever it is, whatever they've consumed. Could be the radio show, could be social media. but he sees that it has an impact on the way they're going about whatever it is that they need to do. And that's where he gets defensive. And if he's not defensive, again, you don't want that coach in that position. But he is. He's defending his guys, and if a chip on their shoulder extends to the fan base,
well, then I want to ring.
Then fine.
Well, then I want to ring when it's won. I'll take credit for the championship. Junior.
Tough Love Cameron?
Tough Love Cameron came through yet again. There can be no act of kindness greater than that I provide this baseball team. To come in with the tough love that was necessary, as much as it hurt me on a daily basis, but to know that's what it took to get things turned around. And Meade, I was willing to do that for you.
Check out the last 2 to 3 minutes of The Dark Knight and take a look at the dialogue.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's not seen it, that's what Jeff is. He's not the hero that we deserve, but he's the hero that we need.
That's right.
In this very dark
situations.
moment.
Yeah. Well, it's what brings defensive tackle after defensive tackle to Florida State upon my asking them. It's what turns seasons around. It's when my hunch about winning series at Louisville, which I had,
sure,
comes to fruition.
Well, and we learn it just if we go to Louisville, Kentucky, whatever your hunch is will happen. You know, it could be for the Cardinals or for other games. And if we ever play another neutral site event as a Florida State athletic program in Louisville, Kentucky, well, then let's just ask you. I mean, hell, look at Billy Strode's career. Billy Strode would tell you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Hey, by the way, the prediction that I thought, we were going to lose to Louisville the last time we were there in football, and the prediction that I thought we might play pretty well, I did kind of hedge my bet a little bit by not saying we were going to win the series up there. I should have just gone. I don't deserve all the credit, just a little, for saying that it's entirely possible and even maybe likely that they're going to go up there and play well.
I think you forgot the extent to which your power really of clairvoyance makes its way into Louisville, because you got more bullish about the ACC tournament.
Well, I got really bullish about the ACC tournament. I felt really good about that. But then Notre Dame almost happened. If not for Wells' throw out there and right.
He's got a seed, though. I think he was hearing the show. Maybe he was listening to the WTSM app as he was in right field for a defensive replacement.
We'll come back, wrap it up. Jeff Cameron, Show 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Get 2 free gifts and also receive free shipping when you call right now.
You heard it. This offer won't last long. So call Proactive Plus now and you'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, 2 free extras, and free shipping. This is our exclusive radio offer, never on TV. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactive Plus with free shipping. That's right, free shipping. Don't wait.
800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. 800-489-1397. That's 800-489-1397.
Live market pricing is better than ever at Werner Hyundai during the Better Than Ever sales event going on now. You'll get the best prices, guaranteed. Get up to $10,000 in total savings off a new 2017 Hyundai Sonata, or up to $7,000 in total savings on a new 2017 Santa Fe Sport. You heard right. That's why it's the Better Than Ever sales event. These are the best deals in the 30-year history of Hyundai. Werner Hyundai does quick credit approvals over the phone and offers online delivery. Want to test drive first? Then take a better test drive. They'll pay for your gas if you go to them, or deliver straight to you for a remote test drive. And when you test drive, get a free smartwatch or MP3 player while supplies last. Enjoy a worry-free purchase with a 3-day buyback program and get Hyundai Assurance with America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and 2 years free maintenance. Why shop anywhere else? Werner has the best customer service, test drives, pricing, and warranty. Werner Hyundai, 252 Capitol Circle Southwest, or check them out online at wernerhyundai.com. Must approve finance through Hyundai Motor Finance with approved credit. See dealer for details. Sonata stock number GH329871. Santa Fe stock number HD492731.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. New details on the DUI arrest of 14 major golf champion Tiger Woods. Woods was asleep behind the wheel and had to be woken up by police prior to the arrest, according to a police report released this morning. Police said Woods' blood alcohol content was 0.00, which corroborates his statement last night that alcohol was not involved in the arrest. The report also says Woods had extremely slow and slurred speech and struggled to complete several roadside tasks. Woods told police he was taking multiple prescriptions but was unable to give them a clear answer on where he was going and where he was coming from. National star Bryce Harper and Giants reliever Hunter Strickland could be hearing soon from Major League Baseball regarding any discipline for yesterday's fight in San Francisco. Harper charged the mound after being hit by a pitch, flung his helmet, traded punches with Strickland. Both were ejected. The teams meet up again tonight, 10 Eastern, ESPN. Angels outfielder Mike Trout will have thumb surgery tomorrow, expected to be out 6 to 8 weeks. NFL former Saints and Bills safety Jarris Byrd among a group of DBs working out for the 49ers today, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter.
Experience why for nearly a century men have trusted Barbasol for a close, comfortable shave. Whether it's extra moisturizing with vitamin E or soothing aloe, all you have to do is sit back and bask in the glory of your close shave. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Lawn Maintenance Tuesday, presented by Miller's Tree Service. Call Miller's today at 894-TREE. That's 894-8733.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hope you enjoyed that good interview. Mike Martin Jr. joining us. And, you know, I think the world of what he's done with them offensively over the years, his career has been a spectacular one as the hitting instructor. Just go look at the runs per game and the on-base percentage and all that stuff, slugging. They've done a fantastic job. And once again, that was really never in question. The offense was very good this year. Pitching has been a big part of the problem. And if they got that figured out, they're a fun team. And, it'll be fun to see, can they just sort of let this happen, just let this ride and just go in. And because I think there's a part of me that believes some of this occurred not just because they got healthy, which is a big, big part of it, without question. But when you reach a place where you got nothing left to lose, maybe the talent's allowed to come out. Maybe you just, what the hell do we care? I mean, we've made a mess of this thing. Let's just go play ball. And other people oftentimes are protecting something. When you got nothing left to protect and you just let it fly, good things can happen.
That makes you dangerous. There's no doubt about that. I find it interesting that in the last week or so, you've seen Sands and Parrish come around at the same time. That might be a happy coincidence that ends this weekend. But it's just interesting that the two of them have seemed to find something at the exact same time, and it's only to Florida State's benefit because, again, let's revisit this one more time from a different perspective. If Sands and Parrish are closer to the versions that we saw last week, then the Carleton move is correct. That was the idea in the beginning of the season.
Right. They just never had a reliable number 2 all year long, though, and thus you were wasting a quality arm in the bullpen for the better part of the season, and he's not in high-leverage situations. And, again, that's why I said what I said about coaching and about the mess this team found itself in. It's not that I didn't think those guys had a handle on what talent they had. It's just that move wasn't working, and they never adjusted. And I guess the idea, based on what Mike said, Jr., is that they had an unfailing belief that it was going to come around. And I'll tell you what, that's like standing on the train tracks, and it's getting closer and closer and closer, and knowing that you have the time to find safety just before it reaches the spot you're standing on. I mean, it's crazy.
Yes, because it wasn't exactly like Sands dominated in Louisville against the Cardinals.
No, he got lit up.
Yeah, exactly. So,
you overcame that.
Correct.
But they just kept, hold on. It's going to work out. Listen, if it works, and it did quite clearly, at least for now, then we all hail and never question again. When it doesn't, you go, well, what were you doing there?
What's interesting is, obviously on Friday, you don't think you're going to throw Holton. I know Meats said he was not committal about who was going to pitch, but Holton's going to be saved for the Saturday game.
I would think.
There's no question there. But part of me, because I'm a prisoner in the moment, and maybe because it's, the moment is the only positive we have in the last couple of months, I want to see Drew Parrish throw on Friday because he validated what he did against Notre Dame by getting 3 king-sized outs for North Carolina. I mean, bags loaded, sure. He walks the first guy, but you get bags loaded, nobody out, and you get out of that?
Yeah. With 3 Ks.
Next to J.C. Flowers' catch against Louisville on Friday. Those are the biggest outs of the tournament. And they're bigger, actually, but the Flowers catch is a bona fide web gem of MLB proportions.
Yeah, it's a thing of beauty, and it makes you smile ear to ear. They did a lot of things well, and Martin said those exact words. 11 said they did a lot of things well, and it was great to see that they were rewarded for doing so. Because that's a big part of it, too.
And a big moment in the development, I think, confidence-wise for Drew Mendoza this weekend.
Oh, buddy.
He's come around, and those are mammoth shots that he hits, but it's on the heels of a 2-error play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what that does inside to you, and you want to go out and make up for it. Well, he goes out and he makes up for it, and he has to be flying high, now knowing that this team is indeed as good, at least the ceiling. We talked about it all season long. The ceiling's really high for this team. They've seen it now. They've seen how good they can be. Mendoza's seen how good he can be.
Go get it, boys.
And yes, you're rather than having a 2-error game and a team winning in spite of you, you go out and you go get 2 home runs of your own. Outstanding.
Keep throwing those dongs. Just keep throwing those dongs out there. Seminole headlines next.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.